Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to LEGO City Undercover. We're starting here at the menu. I wanted to see how long it takes to load in. Oh, I also wanted to mention that if you look at this logo of the badge, it says Building Model Citizens at the bottom. In the middle it says Protect and Serve. At the top it says LEGO City Police Department. It's the engine that is used in LEGO games in particular. It's a little weird on controller input, so if you hit, when it says press any key at the beginning, if you hit a keyboard or mouse input, it locks you into keyboard and mouse inputs unless you back out to that point or go through the options. I believe there's an option to reset it to get back to a controller. It's probably not a huge deal, and it almost certainly would never be a deal.
Hey, Chase.
For any of the other
Have you seen Frank around? He's doing a favor for me.
Consoles.
Sorry, not heard from him. While I've got you, do you know anything about a theft at Bluebell Mine?
Sure do. Uncle Duke took me along with him. Some thugs took a load of equipment. Dumby took us off the case before we could interview the witness, though. Said he sounded like a crank.
There was a witness?
Yeah, kooky old guy.
So I don't think I can skip this, so this is repeated
Clarence
dialogue.
Fletcher. Says here his friends call him
And
Sticky.
I don't remember if the end of the
Ellie.
last level I was
like
actually
Sticky might know who
in
Rex's
the
guys are on the outside.
in the
Oh, and I'll keep an eye out
bank
for Frank.
robber or
And
cat
try taking
burglar
the train
outfit.
from Cherry Tree Hill Station. You'll get to the mine a lot faster.
So are we gonna see the animation in which things unlock? Yeah, so there's actually a considerable amount of storyline things here that are unlocking again because I exited and reloaded the game. One assumes that the little collectible things still have been collected. We'll have to look at the red bricks in particular and just make sure we have score times 2. Also, I think in most LEGO games when you exit out, you have to turn on the extras anyways. So let's start with that. Studs times 2 is off, but data scan upgrade city challenges is on. Alright. So it's weird how games have kind of expanded into this mentality of having a two-tier system of saves, one being a very linear storyline experience and the other being a instantaneous ad hoc system where you save every little collectible in an open world. It does go to show that there is still a pretty large divide. These coins are just leading me to the exact right direction. There still is a fight and a divide between open world games and attempts to make games way bigger than they really have any right to be, and frankly, as we're entering 2020, as I'm recording this, we're at a point where I'd like to see a lot less games be open world and a lot more games be linear, with some exception there. I guess we'll never get away from a small open world or a hub world, because then the games will feel too small, but we should probably in a lot of games get away from the vast majority of open world elements. Alright, so we just hit this and we just fast travel. I didn't realize that the train was going to be summoned and be outside the train station, so we have that was not too fast, not too slow as far as the load, but a little bit of a load, more than the animation. So even installed on an SSD, they did not make enough of an animation to hide that load, because they could have shown some kind of cutscene or something of trains moving in general, even if they're just going in circles. Looks like there's stuff around here. Let's see, super brick, super brick, super brick, super brick, whole bunch of people, another super brick, another super brick. I wouldn't be surprised if the game decides to point us in this direction. This is interesting. We'll look at these trees and see that they don't look anything like this. More super bricks all over this. Let's see, what is this labeled as? Challenge ability. Some kind of red thing. Our car's over there. It tells us the value of the super bricks too in the scanner, so that's interesting. But I guess the question would be, how does one get up here? It's kind of quiet. There's a bit of a lag. I did some things, for better or for worse. I reset the NVIDIA control panel 3D settings to the default settings. I don't know at what point I would have even changed those settings, but I figured that if that's going to affect anything, I should just set it back to the default. But I imagine it won't change much. So, yeah. There's a super brick over here worth 10,000 bricks. Where there's one worth 10,000 over there. And then you apparently, once you get around a certain area, there was a bit of lag too. I imagine some of these tree textures, which don't look anything like the scan mode, are part of the problem. That this is a case of this game simply, LEGO games in general simply try to have too many textures on screen. They seem to be missing, and I won't call this a basic concept by any means, but they seem to be missing the idea of having a quota of textures in any area, and specifically making certain that from any perspective or any angle you're not going to run into problems with there being a large amount of items. See, and this is the problem with trying to get any of these super bricks, is that it could be something pretty simplistic. One assumes if I jump in the water here, we can't actually swim, so it's only water that is connected to the ocean that has the shark element. And now that trains are unlocked, apparently trains will start showing up on the tracks. We've got a video.
Did you find Clarence Stinky Fletcher, Chase?
No. I haven't got to the mine yet.
Well, you should hurry. He might know something important.
So, you can't even enjoy the game. It's weird for a kid's game to be like this. There's another lag. Wow, we might be getting worse lag situations. The default settings for the 3D settings is to preference to let the app itself decide, but I guess the thing here more than anyone else is we would need somebody who is trustworthy to program the game, and I don't know if we really are at a point where I trust TT Games as a company to properly program their own games and ports to. Right. So you have to have the ability to blow up silver bricks, which I don't have.
Hey you! Stop right there. Mining regulation 4.5 states that no one unauthorized gets into the mine.
You would think that
That's right. Nobody gets in there.
the police outfit would let you in.
My watch, which will be over when the end of shift whistle blows. Why am I saying that out loud?
Why are you talking so slow? I can't even change the camera here, so... that wasn't even how you were supposed to collect that thing. Okay, it's weird they have two super bricks so close to each other. And yeah, there's just a bunch of open world stuff, but I can't do any of it until I do the story. So why not just lock me like Lego Marvel Superheroes did into a small walled-in section to keep me focused and say, all right, you've got to do this, and you've got to do the 15 story levels first before we'll unlock the open world. And for a kids game, I honestly wouldn't even tease the open world for fear that some small percentage of the kids playing would get frustrated that they can't reach areas like I'm having right now. It's frustration that I can't just go where I want to do and do what I want to do. Like, I want to climb this and get up here just because. That worked, but half the time it doesn't. So yeah, I think after this recording, I'll go back and change the 3D settings to performance mode always. Honestly, I don't think the 3D settings change too much. They are very old-fashioned secondary settings compared to the internal options you get in a modern video game, or GeForce experience, adjusting those modern settings.
Blow the charges with the detonator.
The heads of these minifigs are not staying connected, which is weird.
What the crab cakes?
That's not a way I've seen any of the other Lego games animated like that. As far as I can think or remember. It has been a long time since I've played a Lego game.
Some safety gear on. Aye, aye, sir.
Why I'm the mechanic? Yeah, it seems like the game is just going to have me randomize.
Guys who broke in here took the equipment.
Yeah, it seems like it's just going to randomize my outfits.
Digging's all it was good for. Idiots. They should have just taken all the precious ore and saved themselves the money. Oh, dang-nammit. My first day in the job and I managed to jam this big spinnery. What's it? Made the whole system seize up.
So we're running around seeing a lot of things we can't interact with. We're clearly going to unlock the ability to blow things up.
They haven't finished building the track. I can't move my car with dynamite.
Okay, so we're gonna build a cart path. What does this do? Drop some pieces. It does build some pieces, but not on the place I was thinking. Yeah, weird. I am running into more little stuttering once I change the settings than I thought. I made it worse, it feels, and not better. Now, this might be psychosomatic, and that is also the problem with trying to diagnose anything, is unless you have detailed frame pacing software running at all times. Man, that swing way that's programmed is really not programmed well.
I'm gonna spend my bonus on going one of those health spas, get pampered.
Way too many lines of dialogue being written for these unimportant characters.
I thought we got to choose which tool we got from the equipment shed, but the foreman specifically told me to take it.
That building Blackwall was planning looked really nice.
We missed a bit of a joke there.
An apartment in it, though.
You ain't kidding. Not on our wages.
Yeah, I do recall, I think Batman 1 felt a little slow and a little awkward. There almost certainly was a system or a version of the engines, the Lego engine
dynamite now? This is gonna be a blast.
Gets changed. I can't pick up that pickaxe apparently. So yeah. And I am in a weird position because I still do have love for the first Lego game, Lego Star Wars, more than a lot of the other Lego games. So if I was to go back and try and play that again, I probably would realize that it's actually not anywhere as good as I remember. On the other hand, it is also worth mentioning, I believe that they are starting to think about, if they haven't announced, remastering some of their older Lego games, which is a smart move. Particularly if they're not selling the remasters to the same kids over and over again. That would be a little annoying. Miners can get dynamite from the dispensing machines. That's weird, but okay.
That silver block is jammed in so tight, it'll need blasting.
And so you always put dynamite in barrels?
You just saved my job, buddy.
This is another level example of just a significant amount of this world not having Lego stuff in it. Not being Legofied. I can't get over to those crystals, so I assume that the crystals on the right are just a lighting element. It seems like with the pickaxe you can break a few more things. With score times 2. Let's see what this is.
The foreman would let me borrow some of the explosives so I could get rid of that tree stump in my garden.
With score times 2 now, we could potentially get the amount of studs we needed, but
bam, a fallen boot lands on your head.
I'm not sure when we start to look at it if that's still really worth the time. And since studs in this game are so devalued and you don't really use them for anything else.
If you fix the track, I'll let you fix the track. You're my bestest friend now. You want to push my cart?
These guys are talking so slow. And I don't think that's a problem with the game, unless it's just the way the game is programmed.
Wow! That explosion was awesome! It was like, kaboom! And I was like,
so I destroyed one guy by sending him in the water, I think. Yeah, because when we get all the score multipliers, we'll walk into a level and just one stud will be enough. And so there really won't be any reason to try and spend extra time around that. And so you're getting a score multiplier when you defeat these characters, which kind of multiplies the amount of studs you get, and we've seen that in other LEGO games. But then in every LEGO game where you could get a score multiplied by defeating enemies, there was never a considerably large enough of enemies to continue that combo going, and getting those extra few studs didn't really help. So it's almost like a case of they thought that studs should be the new score, which kind of makes sense, without realizing it also has to be the currency. And you don't see that in any other games, really. Like, very rarely is your XP or your score then something you can trade on and use to purchase things. It doesn't make sense at all. A score should be something that goes up constantly and never decreases, and there's really no reason in a LEGO game to have a score. It's just a number for kids who probably don't even have the ability to count that high.
Okay, hit taken. No more beans. A little privacy, please.
Great. A dive board. I feel much safer now. I hope my health insurance is up to date. 3, 2. God! I wasn't ready!
This is cool. This feels like something that might have been licensed to somebody else. It's basically a LEGO dropper map that is happening.
Ow! I feel like my head's been used as a battering ram!
This is cool, but not very LEGO-y. This was in LEGO Marvel Superheroes, and when they did it in LEGO Marvel Superheroes, I didn't like it very much then either. I think I missed.
Why was that even there? You know, after
This
a
is going
while,
really
you gotta
long.
get used to the terror.
There we go. They want me to crash into.
Those things?
I went the wrong way, I think. You see, this feels like this is either the halfway point of the level or the end of the level. And at what point did they say I had a... Did they tell me I had a parachute?
Perfect landing.
I wonder if it would have said perfect landing otherwise. Okay. That was cool.
Hey, you do know there's an elevator, right?
No.
But there's not very much Lego stuff. There's another lag. Man, I'm gonna definitely have to just exit out after this recording and try this again. In particular, I kind of wonder if I just turned off all the settings on Lego games in particular. If that wouldn't be better. We could look here at the X options. Let's see. Like, what do I have off right now? Basically everything except for high quality shaders and high quality shadow. And there's not really a good reason that I should have to turn those off, but if I do, I also wouldn't be surprised if it fixed some things. Oh, I'm over here. Then wait a minute. Why did the camera show me a character over here?
We were supposed to get a new cable car last week.
I've probably got enough bricks to use that super build now.
So that's weird. Just cinematically, to start with where you're supposed to go and then show where the character is, that whole animation should have been backwards. It should have started with showing me here, where I am, and frankly, if it would have been better if it had some visual connection to where I was before, and then the camera should have zoomed out and gone in that direction. These Lego boulders, not something you get in Lego Expert very much. I don't think I've ever seen a Lego Expert set with it, and frankly I don't know if you get them very often anymore. That's kind of a problem with Lego, is that sets, the pieces in sets come in and out of production. It's not as bad as a Disney Vault situation where they're actively and intentionally removing items, but there is just some attempts to either phase out pieces for new pieces that are slightly similar or slightly improved versions. There's also a desire to sometimes just get rid of pieces because they're not that useful or helpful. So as these Lego games,
I'm about to wake you up.
As these Lego games get older and older, the pieces that are getting used to animate things may not even be easily accessible in certain colors or at all. I think the boulders in particular are kind of an example of that. But Lego games have always also had a issue where you see in a Lego game what would be the equivalent of at least $10,000 worth of Lego, minimum. Like I'm not even really exaggerating. There's just so many of the same pieces over and over again that would require you, if you were a builder,
friendly faces,
to buy sets or trade pieces. I like that these guys are easy enough to defeat. I feel like Lego Batman 1 in particular had stronger enemies that required more punching than was really necessary. And we are above our goal already by nearly triple, but I want to keep moving forward, and getting all of the super bricks in a level probably is one of the badge requirements, and even if it isn't a badge requirement, it's probably a smart move. What's interesting about that though is not all the bricks are there.
I should check the foreman isn't watching first. I can't believe I have to work a double shift now.
And a lot of these guys are just stuck in the ground, so there's kind of nothing you can do with them. We're gonna run into a lot of this, I think, eventually. A lot of levels like this where there's a whole side game to collect super bricks, and it'll be up to me whether I spend the effort to actually do all of that. There's another lag route. Yeah, we have significantly increased the amount of lags and micro stutters. I haven't checked to see if that
I'm sure the foreman was just messing
mini
with me
action.
when he said this part of the mine was haunted. What just touched me?
So we need to find a torch.
Yeah.
Light that.
This is honest toil. Good, honest, sweaty your brow, manly toil. I wish.
Light fuse and stand well back.
It says that, but it takes control from the character, so can't move out of the way if you wanted to. Right. So gotta swing, 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 swing. Let's see. There's one of 5 of those. We probably won't find all of those. That's another item that we probably need an indicator for. And here we have canaries for the coal mine, which one would assume they don't use canaries in coal mines anymore to test for poisonous gases. I'm sure that there's some kind of electronics device that would make a lot more sense. So I've got to jump back in here because I needed to do this first. It made it seem like I could do both. Right. Hold X, shoot. So if I hit some of those other golden areas, golden bricks already, and not recognize that they were special, or who's to say that there actually are even all 5 of them are in this area? They could be in a different area.
Rocks and lugging boulders about. When I get home, I should be allowed to put my feet up.
You're sliding on a chain. Oh man, really? There's something over here that we may not be able to actually access. This really is an example of how this game will just be way easier.
I thought there'd been a poisonous gas leak, but it was just Stinky Fletch.
Alright, full death there. Was there something down here that I missed? Doesn't look like it.
I should have joined the army like my brother. Then I'd be a major instead of a minor.
Some of these jokes are kind of funny. Like, they're basically telling you kids' jokes. So they're not terrible, but the timing is off. The repetitiveness of them that is off. There is, I think, a complaint that can be made here about just how unfriendly this would be to kids. Like, you have one place where you drop and there's been no checkpoint.
We've gone 6 days without an accident. I think we might have a chance of breaking our record. Is that gold? Oh no, that's just that candy wrapper I dropped earlier.
Yeah, feels like there should be some checkpoints.
For today anyway?
And see, I don't know if I'm supposed to go down. Let's use our scanner, which I guess was something we could have been doing this whole time. Doesn't look like there's anything here. It looks like this is the super build point. This way is the foreground, and you can see there's basically nothing there. What the other bricks are.
I spent all day breaking rocks and lugging boulders about. When I get home, I should be allowed to put my feet up.
How are we gonna get to the other side of the cavern?
Hey, good work, man. Not that I'm gonna get in it. Those things ain't safe. No,
So we walk in here,
You have a good trip, though.
and we go to the other side of the cavern with a rainbow.
Watch this.
There was a lag
This
there
isn't
with the
gonna
fire
end well, is it?
explosion, and that's been one of the things that I've seen LEGO games in particularly run into lagging with.
That ought to stop him. Legs, check. Arms, check. Head, check. What do you know? I'm still alive.
Our undercover cop seems to be not perhaps as fearless as you would want him to be. I guess it's an odd position for a LEGO game in particular because you would want him to be kind of silly. I think this, in the longer run, if you were watching a like LEGO superheroes cartoon, you would probably have to balance those character personalities out pretty well too, for the same reason, is that having Batman or Superman come off as too silly loses some of the effect and the feel that they are actually Batman. Of course, Batman is notorious for having a TV series, Batman 66, I believe is what it is, that was completely ridiculous. It's not letting me jump. And I'm looking for collectibles, I'm not just trying to get studs. Of course, I guess there really wouldn't be collectibles in a lot of this. And since that was a prop that was used in the game, it won't be destroyable. In a weird way, I kind of still do need to destroy things. Even though I have 48,000.
Chase? Maybe don't fall in that terrifying grinder machine?
So we're gonna jump and run, I guess. Oh man. And this did get considerably worse. And see, this is my fear, is that either I'm gonna screw something up in the settings, or the game is just gonna get worse and worse as it goes along. And it just took like 3 hours to have that happen in some kind of weird memory leak, but it would have to be a very strange programming memory leak, because we just launched this, so couldn't be leaking just RAM. It would have to be corrupting the save files in some way that that caused it to create very large save files that then got read back into the RAM each time the game was loaded up. Which that might be the case. That's what Skyrim is always accused of, is that their save files just got larger and larger as they would save the location of every sweet bun throughout all of Skyrim, when anyone with even a little bit of programming smarts would have said that it should have done some garbage collection or just resetting of its features, so that once you left a city, things would just go back to their default locations and despawn elsewhere if they are inside the inventory or inside the house of the main player. Notice I'm using a Lego stud to purchase this dynamite. That's what I'm trying to say. But the it's not actually costing me a stud. It's just an animation. An unnecessary animation, but it's not super slow. It's just maybe a little bit too slow. This level is really going to be an experiment of just how much can I get done on the first playthrough. Usually in a LEGO game you can get about half of a level done in the first playthrough, and then you have to come back and play the second time, just because of abilities you don't have. Perhaps the very last level, story level in the LEGO game, you'll have all your abilities at that point, and maybe you can collect everything. And that's not terrible game design, really. It is an old-fashioned approach, certainly. It is still that mentality of
maybe there's a
convincing, trying to convince people to play your games twice or 3 times.
3011. I've been... Eh? Who's that?
Get him!
Yeah!
I'll hide his recorder, boss.
They've got Stinky, but I might still be able to catch up with them.
How?
Long time no see.
Yeah, I really hate how the necks don't connect.
What's that?
It looks really bad.
Wow.
Leave him. There's nothing he can do. My guy says he's found someone to steal us a nice new truck. Courtesy of the LEGO City PD.
It's weird to see a LEGO guy with a scar across his chest.
Did an ice cream truck hit me?
It looks that way, but no. You got beat up, Chase. Good thing Dunby sent me up here.
Duke. Ow. I was looking for a miner, but
Rex got to him first.
Try not to speak.
Natalia, you came here for me?
No. He'll be fine.
then why?
I was in the area.
Her daddy's gone missing.
What? Don't worry, Natalia. I'll find him.
I'll find him. Without you. I never should have testified against Rex Fury.
If Rex has got her daddy, and you're planning on rescuing him, then you're gonna need to learn how to defend yourself. Go see this guy. He knows Kung Fu.
So we got 2 police shield pieces. No real indication what the other police shield pieces would be. We did get 100% of the True Hero. I guess it's just called LEGO City Hero bar in this one, so that'll give us a gold brick. So we should get 2, I guess. So we're eventually gonna get a
Chase, what did you find out at
video
the
call.
mine?
That I'm lousy at fighting.
Huh?
Rex was there. He grabbed Stinky before I could find him and then knocked me out.
Whoa! So what are you gonna do?
Get some training at the local dojo to make sure that he can't do that again.
Okay, and I'm gonna give Frank another call. I bet he's lost his phone.
Okay. So it wants me to, I think, use the train. But I could potentially, if I can figure out where I'd blow up, where can I get some dynamite? So if I can get some dynamite, then I can blow up that and get some other super bricks and do some grinding, because I'm gonna have to pretty obvious I'm gonna have to exit exit out and change the settings. Try this again. This is not what I want to have happen. Okay, there it is. It's over there. This is definitely not what I want to have happen in covering a new LEGO game, is to get back to the same old problems of having a pretty awful experience of trying to do all of this tech support on a game that should run perfectly fine out of the box without any help. If you're a kid trying to get these games to run, that's going to be really, really infuriating. And my recommendation still stands. I think that if you are going to play a LEGO game, by all means play it on a console, because these problems don't exist as much when you're playing them on consoles. The games just kind of work. I think I already pulled this down before I left, but I guess you have to pull them down twice. And I can get some of that, but there's still some stuff I'm missing. We're still getting studs. So yeah, I'm trying to get in the groove. Definitely still trying to get in the groove of playing LEGO games, but it is hard, to say the least, to get into that groove. Wow, there's just a ridiculous amount of stuff. Like something over there that it doesn't even know what it is. So is that a clue? Yeah, there's now investigation clues? Alright. So, this is interesting. Right, well, gotta switch back to a miner. And then come back and get some more dynamite for the third time. It feels like you're going to have some kind of electric guy that has electric power and potentially even some other kinds of vending machines, that they're going with that concept. It's not a terrible idea. I'm hoping that maybe there will be a red brick at some point that says you always have dynamite, or you always have the item you need. That way you don't... Apparently there's 16 more of those around in the world. Right. Let's come back this way. I kind of want to stay in this area and see what else we can do. We'll go and try this. Where is this glowing clue? Swear I just scanned the glowing clue. What? Go see if we can get that piece. It's up here at the top, which would require me to be a gardener, which I can't do. So that won't work. And a bit of lag. here? Let's try that again. He's looking this way. I feel like the glowing clue's probably in the building, and that might be the problem. I guess the easiest way to test us would be to see, are we standing right next to it? Yeah. Looking at the walls, dealing with lags. So here. So these clues, they don't just happen, or they don't stay so much as a marker in the game. Yeah, I don't see anything else that kind of coordinates with that. I don't think breaking a bunch of trees and objects makes the most sense. There is. Where was that super brick piece? That was probably the one I was looking for. So you can see every time I get a collectible, it is saving. So it could be effectively a memory leak on the save files. Just bad programming, making the save files bigger and bigger. Even that is a little questionable though, because it's really not. It's not like we've been playing the game that long, and it's not like I don't have a considerable amount of. This bear wants fish. Interesting. And I didn't realize we were so close to the other area we were in. Clearly they want me to use this car. Although I don't know if they want me to use the car. I don't know how much of that was lag and how much of that was the cutscene. So yeah, we've been in this area before, and we couldn't really do everything we wanted to do. Now we kind of can, or at least we can do a little bit more than what we could do. And so it's kind of silly to bother with this still. Like, there still clearly are elements that are beyond my abilities. Still really don't know how I'm supposed to get up on this area. Let's see. try the police scanner. We haven't done too much of this in the past hour, so they probably were getting some feedback saying this was getting annoying or repetitive, but I do think throughout the entirety of the game we are going to run into a problem of, oh, so this is just a lock. Yeah, I think we're going to run into a problem of a lot of these issues happening. That's weird. There's no sound effects that played then, and I don't think I've ever seen a green brick just let's see. I've never seen a green brick just happen to appear out of nowhere. Usually the green bricks are there. There's clearly something up there, but I can't reach it, so clearly there's some other thing. We've got another mini game. When you notice a fish bite, press B repeatedly to reel it in. Alright. There you go. It's surprising that they made a Lego fishing minigame and they never used it again. Like, I would have assumed you would have seen this in some other Lego game. And we've seen the Lego fish certainly in plenty of other games. But the minigame fishing element, no. Alright, so here's a fish bear. And the pieces are jumping all over the place now that the bear's gone. But I can't do anything with it. So there must be something you can do with the sleeping bags later on, clearly. There's like a clue where I'm sitting and a clue here. So clearly there's like a brick there. So having the ability to find clues, it's not useful. Construct 65 mega builds. And you can then what? Seems like there's something that the trees will do if I construct 65 mega builds. There's another one of those. Let's see. It's over here. And it's not worth really scanning these things because of the way this whole system works. There's a lot of easy access super bricks, which is making me a little concerned because I'm worrying, what if this turns out to be a case where we're going to have to collect a ridiculous amount of super bricks? Like, way more than you would ever expect. Millions and millions. Or, perhaps this is more of a case that the map is as small as it seems to be, and while we're doing I'm gonna need somebody that can run a lot better than this to get up there or drive. Yeah, there's something up there, but I can't reach it. And I can't really see what it is either. One assumes that maybe this sign plays some role. There's no way around on this side. It's losing a lot of the luster to play as the police officer. His scanning and grappling gun features are nice, but not the greatest. Yeah, it seems like if we just keep on going and keep on going, we would run into more and more stuff. But we're kind of... We still need to get more abilities before we really started to do any of this grinding. And if I have something that eventually is a brick multiplier instead of a score times 2 multiplier, which I guess they have always kind of labeled the things as score, the studs as a score multiplier. That picking up these super bricks right now might not be really super useful. Yeah, there's just more and more and more that would happen. Meanwhile, if we were to look at the map, this is where it wants me to go, so it kind of does want me to play through all of that. Looking at this area, though, we've kind of seen 3/4 of this small section. Like, we didn't really look at this section here, and that's it. This section is mostly mountain, I think, so there's kind of nothing there. We saw a significant amount of the city where the headquarters are. We really haven't done anything here. We definitely haven't done anything there. There's like a small section, it seems, possibly for every level. This was the prison area. So yeah, I bet if I was to waste the time and count, we'd probably come directly into 15 different little map areas, and who's to say if the helicopter ability, once we get in the helicopter, lets us fly over these and find anything of importance, that there might be like a large open area puzzle area. If that's the case, though, you could also see that the cursor, as it is, only lets me go to this point in the top left corner. So it's kind of stopping me, where this point lets me go all the way to this island, which I don't think I've even recognized existed, and then this point only gets this far. So it does still feel like the map is mostly nowhere. That's not the button I meant to press. Meanwhile, we're now at 6.4%, and those percentages, I think, are mostly coming from the fact that we've found a bunch of super bricks. Although maybe you don't need to get all the super bricks. When at the looks of it, it doesn't have a counter like the gold bricks. It's not really unlocking vehicles or skins or red bricks in any way. So it could be that the super bricks might even randomly generate, which would be a little weird. I doubt they do. I bet there's a super brick in every single place in the same time. That would be easier just for making a walkthrough, but I'm not sure you need to collect them all. Maybe you do need to get 100% collectability, but then that would turn out to be really frustrating also, because we would potentially have to run through an entire level and run around in circles and scan. speaking of scanning things, we have 3 more data scan upgrades that we'll need to unlock to show me all the stuff that's even in an area. And after these orange stud multipliers, the rest of these white and green and red and yellow abilities could be pretty much anything. So who's really to say? Remember, I'm going to exit out, so we may be in a little bit of a different place. But otherwise, yeah, another hour. We wasted about 20 minutes in goofing around in the open world, but the level was all right. Not the greatest. There's clearly too much ad hoc individual lines of dialogue just spoken as you walk near a character, and not enough story. Maybe now that Rex Fury is actually in the story, like 4 hours in, 3 hours in, maybe now we'll have more of him saying dastardly things and less of just random people saying random things during the levels. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.